But what about the United States? Although this quote is from a president that was in office way after the time period I've been mentioning up until now, I think it does a good job of explaining what it is that's distinct, what it is that is unique about motorsport and automotive manufacturing in the United States. So I'll let you take a look at this quote, and what do they mean? Tell me, what do they mean by spirit? What is the American spirit? As I've mentioned, the origins of automotive technology and motorsport are very much tied to Western Europe. However, soon after, you started to see the United States becoming a bigger player in automotive manufacturing, but also motorsport. Early race venues in the United States were very similar to their European counterparts. A lot of point-to-point events, which you would have races from one city to the next, held on public roads. Oftentimes hill climbs were also used. So hill climbs, essentially the car to get up to the top of the hill, the fastest one. But what's, as I mentioned beforehand, there's something unique about U.S. Americans. And one thing is, we like going fast. We like finishing first. We like having the best of something. And so land speed records became something that was very much of focus here. And so these were various forms, whether it be flying starts or the measured mile, as far as how to record the fastest car speed ever at that time. Keep in mind, cars were something quite rare, and so that was something that generated a lot of buzz. That was wow. And so when you had a land speed record, people were reading that newspaper that was publishing it. People were interested in that car that went that fast and that manufacturer who produced it. And so you could see how the land speed records really started to grow over time. Oftentimes, these land speed records were held in very flat surfaces, obviously to maximize the speed that a car could go. So that's where we see beach racing, the origins of that, but also dry lake seabeds, frozen water, anything which you could get a very, very flat, smooth surface. But if you think about constructors of race cars, constructors of these cars that we see dominating early motorsport, weren't really American. Why? Well, if you think about U.S. Americans, not only do we like going fast, but we also like selling a whole lot of product. So in the United States, because we had a growing population, but we also had innovators in automotive manufacturing that were more concerned about making cars for a large audience, mass producing amounts of cars that then could be consumed by a mass amount of people. You started to see more of this focus in on just let's build a ton of cars that are reliable. Whereas the European were the ones that would be more likely to develop the very high-priced, luxury, high-performance vehicles that would also, of course, win a lot in these motorsport competitions at the time. So we can kind of see how these early these traits are very much tied to, I would argue, the culture that is distinctively U.S. American.